I'm Lily Harris, 34 years old, standing in my beautiful waterfront home on this sunny day, surrounded by the love of my husband, Mark, and our two lovely children. I can hardly believe how far I've come. But there was a time when my life was a complete mess, filled with betrayal and heartache. It all came to a head when my family visited me in Seattle. My father, diagnosed with terminal cancer, wanted one last family gathering. I was hesitant, to say the least. After all, the last time I saw them, I was the victim of their cruel schemes. As they walked into my home, I watched their expressions change. My mother, Helen, tried to maintain her composure, but I could see the shock in her eyes at the sight of my success. My sister, Ava, who was always the center of my mother's attention, looked envious, while my former boyfriend, Ethan, seemed to shrink in on himself. Mark, my amazing husband, greeted them with warmth and grace. He was everything Ethan wasn't: kind, loyal, and supportive. As we sat down for dinner, the tension in the air was palpable. My mother tried to make small talk, but her comments were laced with passive aggression. During dessert, the topic of my company, Harris Secure, came up. I explained that Mark and I had founded it together, specializing in healthcare data security. When my mother heard about our company's market valuation of over $300 million, her eyes widened. Ethan, who had once left me for my sister, looked like he'd seen a ghost. As the evening progressed, the true nature of the past betrayal finally came to light. Ethan admitted that my mother had manipulated him, showing him fake texts that made it seem like I was seeing someone else. Ava, to my surprise, finally found the courage to speak up against my mother. She revealed that she had been a pawn in my mother's game, too. My father, who had always been a passive bystander, finally took responsibility. He apologized for not standing up for me when I needed him the most. His words, though long overdue, pierced through the armor I had built around my heart. Looking back, it all started when I was a child. I grew up in a small town in Texas, in a family that seemed perfect on the outside but was deeply dysfunctional on the inside. My mother was a controlling and manipulative woman. She doted on Ava, who was beautiful and popular, while I was the nerdy one, always buried in books and computers. I remember when I was 15, I won a state-wide coding competition. Instead of being proud, my mother said, "That's nice, Lily, but look at Ava. She's just been crowned homecoming queen." My father would give me a weak smile and say, "Your mother means well," but I knew he was too afraid to challenge her. College was my escape. I got a scholarship to Stanford, far away from home. There, I met my best friend, Mia. She was the first person who truly appreciated my intelligence and passion for technology. Through her, I started to gain confidence. During my junior year at Stanford, I met Ethan at a tech conference. He was charming and ambitious, and we quickly fell in love. When we became serious, I invited him to meet my family. I naively hoped that they would see me in a new light through him. At first, the visit went well. My father seemed interested in Ethan's startup, and my mother was overly nice, which should have been a red flag. Then Ava showed up, and she started to flirt with Ethan right in front of me. After that visit, things between Ethan and me started to change. He became distant, always making excuses about work and investors. One day, while scrolling through social media, I saw a picture of him at a restaurant in my hometown when he was supposed to be in New York. When I confronted him, his lies became more and more obvious. I was devastated when I finally discovered the truth. I withdrew from Stanford, my dream shattered. I moved to Seattle, where I started rebuilding my life from scratch. In Seattle, I got a job at a tech company. That's where I met Mark. He was a brilliant developer and a kind-hearted man. We worked together on a project, and our relationship grew from there. He was patient with me, understanding my trust issues. 3 months into the project, he asked me out on a date. I was terrified. The thought of opening myself up to potential hurt again was unbearable. But Mark was persistent and kind, and eventually I took a chance. Our relationship deepened over time. After a year together, I finally told him about my past. He listened with empathy and promised to always be there for me. 2 years later, Mark proposed. We got married in a small, intimate ceremony with our closest friends. We didn't invite my family, and I didn't expect them to care. After our wedding, Mark and I started our own company, Harris Secure. With the increasing demand for healthcare data security, our company quickly grew. Now, as I stand here in my home, looking at my family's broken expressions, I realize that their betrayal was the catalyst for my growth. It taught me that I am stronger than I thought. I may not have fully forgiven them, but I have released the anger. I've learned that the power to write my own story lies within me. And I'm grateful for every step of this journey because it led me to the life I have now.